You may think to yourself that you want confidence, right? But here's the truth. Confidence is something that every person on this planet has. I don't give a fuck who you are. Everybody has confidence. Everybody is good at one thing. Even if that thing that they're good at is the stupidest thing to be good at. Everyone has confidence. Everyone. What not everyone has is self-belief, which self-belief really comes to fruition when you're congruent. You see, you don't really want to be confident. You want to be the same man in every room that you walk into, which is a much harder skill to learn because you're probably very performative. You've probably learned how to fake being confident. You've probably learned how to fake strength instead of actually expressing confidence, instead of actually expressing self belief, instead of actually expressing strength. You see, it's not strength to hide who you really are, to hold back who you really are. And you do this. You do this when you're afraid to speak up, when you don't say what's actually on your mind because you're afraid to get judged, when you start acting different around different people, men that you see as higher than you on the social hierarchy just because they have more money, just because they have more status, just because they have more women. Even worse, you act different around different women. The seven, she's comfortable, she's cool, you're able to flirt with her, but you know you're better than her. At least that's what you tell yourself. But then the nine, oh shit, uh, I gotta say the right thing, or I'm gonna lose her. It's happened to all of us, bro. Don't feel bad about it. It's happened to all of us. But you see, you want to be the same man in every room, and you may even go on YouTube searching up, how to talk, how to bag a 9 out of 10 woman, and how do I raise my status, and how to. You're just misaligned, man. You're misaligned. You've put on this mask, and you're so performative that you fuck yourself over. You see, you don't actually move from any convictions, from any values, or even worse, you've been isolated for too long. So you don't know who you are when you walk into these different social rooms. I'm very big on socializing, right? This is a aspect of my life where being competent has fucked me over. You know why? When you're competent, when you're able to build businesses and actually make your own money and make your own income, you like to hide behind that. And when you hide behind that fact, it's very hard for you to go into flow state and not hesitate when you're out talking to people. You see, you'll be too in your head trying to calculate your every word instead of really trusting your mind and really expressing who you are. You'll put on a mask so you could seem strong, instead of actually being strong. Or you'll find yourself over explaining yourself. Oh, well, this is why I don't do this and this is why I don't do that. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, who cares? Like, you over explain yourself. And that's honestly, anytime someone over explains himself, that tells me they feel guilty. It tells me they feel guilty. Guilty about what? Guilty about what they really believe in. A part of them doesn't believe it. A part of them does believe it. You see? You only really feel the need to explain yourself when you need to justify yourself. When you need a reason to yourself that what you're saying is true. You see? Women will do this shit to you. They'll like overly explain themselves. If you've ever gone approaching women, they'll reject you and then they'll explain why. I don't like to me. I'm like, I don't need a fucking explanation why. You know what I mean? Unless a part of you actually wanted to go out with me, but now you feel obligated to give me a reason on why you can't, or you feel guilty for saying no. You know what I mean? And a lot of us carry this shame about who we are. Like, why? Society has its own opinions, its own beliefs, but really they like to shame us men for saying what we actually think. You get on a platform like this, you say things that you actually think, and next you're banned off the platform. You're banned off of IG. You're banned off of, I'm not saying everything needs to be said either, because you definitely need to know who you're speaking to. But this is reality. And this affects a lot of men everywhere. And I'm sure it affects you. You see? So how do you actually like build up congruency? How do you actually be yourself? Well, you be yourself in private first. How often do you keep your word? How often do you show up for yourself? That's the most important thing a man has is his word and his fucking nuts. And a lot of you tuck your nuts between you and you don't show them. You don't show them. How do you keep your word? Well, it's pretty fucking simple. You say something and then you do it. You see? And when you do that, you become congruent. You start to move the same way in every room. And see, socially, a lot of you will go into this, this shell of yourself. You might be the one with the most money, the best physique, but then you don't really say what's on your mind. You don't trust what's on your mind. You don't trust your beliefs. Or you've been on YouTube for too long and you've never actually created beliefs on your own. So now when you speak, you don't speak from your own experiences. You speak from what you've seen online. So you become a parrot and you know you're a fraud and you don't actually know your own voice, which is why it's important to go socialize, which is why it's important to go approach women. You see? Any man could do anything alone. But can a man really show up as himself when he's around other people and be unapologetic for it? Most men cannot. Most men cannot. It's easy to talk your shit when you're in the gym by yourself, moping about your ex-girlfriend. It's easy. It's fucking easy. Oh yeah, she ain't shit. But if she's in front of you, you're gonna be able to turn her down? Most men will not. If she's trying to throw it back at you, you know what I'm talking about, you won't fucking turn it down. And you know that. And that's what makes you incongruent, is that you don't trust yourself to not fall into bullshit. You don't trust yourself to stand up for yourself. So now you walk into these different rooms when you should be the big dog, and you're not the big dog because you've seen yourself show up short. You've seen yourself betray yourself way too many times. So now when you're out socializing, you don't know who the fuck is gonna show up. The big dog in you, or the bitch in you, the timid side. This is something I had to train through cold approaching women. I'm not like lying. Like, this is an actual skill. Because I would say to myself, oh, I could bag a woman, X, Y, and Z. And it was true. It was true. But then certain women, I was that dude. Oh, fuck, how'd I keep her around? Like, she's fucking bad. And, then I fucking sabotage the fucking, I would sabotage it. Because I felt like I needed to perform to keep her around. All of a sudden, I became a fucking circus clown. And it happens to a lot of you. Now going up to a fine woman is kind of like going up to the ice cream truck. You know you're gonna see it. You know what I mean? And like, if we're being frank, that's a big reason you feel like an imposter. You're not congruent. You act different in different areas. And certain environments give you permission to actually be yourself. A lot of y'all feel intense in the gym, and that's who you truly are, right? Me, I'm an intense man, but I allow that conviction, because that's what it is. It's conviction, to carry over to every part of my life. Now, I'm not perfect. I don't show up the way I want to every single time. I don't think any man does. But I've gotten to the point where I'm very fucking consistent. I'm very consistent. And that is a gift, and that is a skill. That's what actually builds a presence. A lot of these fucking guys on TikTok, Instagram, oh, how to build aura, bro. You fucking build your physique and you get money. Bro, that shit doesn't do anything. You know what fucking builds aura? Is the ability to trust yourself. Ability to say something and then actually do it. You know how many men do not do that? You know how many men are incongruent with their own word? We are all incongruent to a certain extent, but the man who's mostly congruent, the man who's consistently congruent, that can line his spirit, his soul, his body all together, his mind all together, is the man who's actually going to move convicted, is going to be the man who actually shows up the same in every single room. Every single room. A lot of these times it's subconscious too. You don't even realize like why certain situations trigger you socially. You may know, a bad chick is just a bad chick, but hey, let's be real. How many guys have hyped up, a chick's looks? We all love beautiful women. We all love beautiful women, but any time you try to perform, they feel that shit. Men too, in social hierarchies. anytime you try to impress another man, they lose respect for you. I'd rather show up timid but still defend myself, even really get my ass whooped than fucking not show up at all. Because at least I fucking put my balls in the line. I got my ass whooped, but fuck it, I got my ass whooped. I wasn't willing. I'd rather fucking get my ass whooped than fucking betray myself. And that's the feeling that a lot of y'all don't carry. Self betrayal to you is like Wednesday. You do it all the time. Or even worse, you only see the time you self betray yourself. You you only see the time you betray yourself. You don't actually ever acknowledge your wins. You know why? Because if you do, you have to fully step into who you are. And that's even scarier. But that's a topic for another day. But congruency across the board is who you are in private and who you are in public. When I'm in private, I'm still as hard on myself as I am in public. There's no difference. I still speak calmly. I still speak composedly. On the content, there's not much difference. Especially people that know me in person, you know how I could be. I'm not a fucking asshole either. I lead with compassion, but I will get on someone's ass because that is real love. I don't make these fucking videos to fucking just yell at y'all and fucking, no, I've been there. I've understood the experience. I only speak from experience. I'm not ignorant and take other people's talking points and try to theorize. I fucking hate that shit. I fucking hate that shit. That's something about me. I do not like to sit around in a circle and jerk off to ideas. That shit is so fucking queer. Straight up. And it doesn't lead to any solutions whatsoever. But the truth, it does. It does. And when you could be honest with yourself in private, when you're alone, when you don't want to confront yourself, then you'll finally move like the man that you know you are. Then you'll be able to transcend no matter how much money you don't or do not have, no matter how much status you lack or do have, you'll be able to be the same man consistently across the board. That's really the end game. Is when you could have nothing and still be convicted as if you had everything. That's what most men will want from you. Okay? That's your edge if you allow it to be. But you really have to give yourself permission. Wherever you are right now, if you're a fucking guy who's fucking working at Burlington, but you could act like the most confident motherfucker there, people will still flock to you because they'll ask themselves, why the fuck is this guy so convicted? And it's because you're congruent.